Hi, I'm Sean Shealy. I'm a writer and progressive activist. Lately, there has been a great deal of teeth gnashing and clothes rending, saying that we are America's in horrible decline and decay, and there's no way that we can possibly get back on track, and it's the end, and we're finished. I wanted to point out that in the book, The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, Edward Gibbon pointed out that there exists in human nature a strong propensity to deprecate the advantages and magnify the evils of the present moment. We're all familiar with the evils. We hear about it day after day after day. We magnify those. But I want to talk for a minute about the advantages that we have here. Here's a few quick facts about America. We live in the wealthiest nation on Earth, by far. China isn't even close, no. We live in the richest, most powerful, most technologically advanced society in the history of mankind. In spite of recent losses, we still have the wealthiest middle class in the world. We're at the pinnacle of the freest societies on Earth list, in spite of Denmark and Norway surpassing us from time to time recently. We have great health care. In spite of a somewhat marginal delivery system, it's still the best health care on the planet, and it can get better. Our population is small relative to every other country on the face of the planet. We have tons of room here. You can leave your home and drive and find yourself on public lands owned by you from anywhere that you are. You can move from Miami to Seattle tomorrow across all of those states, and nobody is going to ask for your papers. This is amazing freedom. This hasn't happened throughout the vast majority of the history of man, and still doesn't happen in a great many countries, nations, and continents in the world. We have a multi-ethnic, multiracial, multi-religious, multicultural society, and yet in spite of that, we're not all killing each other constantly. There aren't violent armed conflicts going on everywhere. Think for a minute about all the countries on Earth where everybody looks the same and everybody speaks the same language, and they all have a common history, and yet they're slaughtering each other over who stole a goat in 600 BC or whether or not God has a beard. We're not doing that here. Applaud yourselves for that. That's amazing. No armed conflicts going on here. We have an amazing socialized highway system. You can drive all over the place. We have a decent social safety net. It can get better. We have vast educational opportunities, endless entertainment, any kind of food you'd want in the world. And if you're willing to live in a tent, a minimum wage worker can eat lobster and butter every single day until she dies of a massive coronary at the age of 35. It's fantastic. To say that we have advantages over most people that have lived throughout the history of the world is like saying that the President of the United States is somewhat better off than the rest of us. We're hugely, ginormously, gigantically better off than most people that have ever lived in the history of the world. We need to keep that in mind. Progressives need to keep it in mind, many of whom, including myself, have said that we're descending into oligarchy. I want you to think for a moment about the pharmaceutical commercials. You know, the ones where it says, if you take such and such, your head may spin around backwards and your feet may invert and all sorts of horrible things. If the oligarchs were completely in control, the pharmaceutical companies that have enormous money and enormous political power would not have those little tags on their ads. They don't want those little tags there. The banks would not have paid these enormous fines recently. We still have some control over our own destiny here. I also want to speak to the conservatives who are running around starting militias, waving assault weapons around, and want to seem to tear the thing to pieces. Here's a message to that group. Do you have any idea what idiots you would look like to history if you splintered this all into warring factions? If you started a bunch of regional conflicts? they're going to be looking at you and saying, you know, you lived in the freest, wealthiest, most organized and advanced democracy in the history of Earth, and you did what? I mean, come on, you've got to be kidding me. Cease the whining. Things are not that bad. There are no death panels, and no, the middle class has not disappeared. We still have time to fix our relatively small little problems. And they are. Ask any other country on Earth whether they'd like to switch places with us right now. Every single one would. We have all the money in the world and all the potential to do whatever we wanted to do. Norway could step in here right now and have this whole thing fixed in no time. It's just a matter of readjusting priorities. We're a very young, immature little country throwing temper tantrums like a 3-year-old who doesn't get his favorite toy and a Happy Meal. This country doesn't suck. It can suck if we keep acting like spoiled brats. Let us not go gently into that. Or maybe we should go gently. Maybe we should be a little bit more gentle with each other. You know, appreciate each other, love each other a little bit more. Enjoy your liberty, cherish your democracy, protect it, reinvigorate it. We can do anything. We can clothe everybody, house everybody, feed everybody, educate everybody, and let them start from there to go on to build just incredible things. We can do that. We can. We absolutely can. We just have to decide to do it. I'm Sean Shealy. Thank you for listening.